What's going on, people? Welcome back to AFTV. You are joining us for the Starting 11 show for Arsenal versus Brighton. I'm joined to my right by Mr. Kelechi. Oh, clap him up, clap him up. I'm going to clap, so like that. Clap him up, clap him up. Oh, what's wrong with this? We're not beefing. We're not beefing now.
Introduce me properly, please. If you don't have to introduce me, tell another person to introduce me.
Doctor, Mr. Local Man, African star himself, Arsenal fanatic.
You get me, fam.
Does enjoy a little bit of basketball as well.
You get me, fam. We outside now.
Mr. Kelechi.
Should we give him a standing ovation?
Chill out. Doesn't deserve that much.
I mean, look at that intro, Sess.
Imagine starting a show 8 minutes late and giving that long an introduction. We have 5 minutes.
Sort of treatment.
I was just thinking that. I did all of that, and now I was going to be like, and we got Charlene.
Thanks.
Well done, Charlene. Well done.
Clap him up.
What, is that it?
Guys, we were late,
joking.
and James was right.
I'm joking.
We've got to get straight into the show. But listen, guys, everyone watching, James has returned as well. Actually, from Thailand. He's back.
I'm back.
Back in the building.
I'm back.
The ship stayed afloat, so it's all good.
What, did you get a ship there or a plane?
No. I flew.
I was going to say, how long did that take?
Charlene, you're world class. You are world class.
I'm talking about, do you know what, I'm not even going to explain it. But anyway, James is back. And we have, obviously, the beautiful Charlene looking stunning as ever, and we're going to be going through today's...
She's lost it.
I missed you so much.
Oh, I missed you too.
Oh, that one got me. That one got me. Right,
Well
today,
done.
listen, it's a Start 11 show. We're going to be seeing the Start 11. We haven't got very long. We've got 5 minutes, and there's a lot to get through. The big talking topic is who's going to fill the positions now due to injuries of Kieran Tierney, Thomas Partey. Obviously, Tomiyasu is not available as well. So let's just quickly, before we go into the Premier League table, let's just quickly get the left back. Who would you like to see play there today, Charlene, quickly?
Do you know, I don't want to make too many changes and sort of shake up that defence too much, so I'll just bring Tavares straight in.
Straight back in?
I am a bit concerned the fact that Arteta did take him off, was it at half-time in the Crystal Palace game? I'm just hoping that hasn't, knocked his confidence in any way. However, that did happen in the past, and when he came back stronger. We got Brighton today. I'm not underestimating them. So I think this would be a good game to just let Tavares fill that space and, find some form there.
Okay, Kelechi, would you like to see maybe Xhaka there? Tavares come back, stay there.
Partey injured, you can move Xhaka to left back. So yeah, Tavares should come in. I think
No Saka?
He not
in
yet.
that position?
Not
Okay.
yet. I think he needs another game to kind of prove himself. It's not yet panic stations for me. So you just play him there.
Okay, I would ask you, James, but I know you're going to break it down and give us the options, and we're going to get to that straight away after we go through the Premier League standings. Quickly, score predictions before the lineup's out. Go.
3-1 Arsenal. No, sorry, I need clean sheet. Sorry, 3-0 Arsenal. I need that clean
3-0.
sheet. Yeah, I need that clean sheet.
Big bounce back.
Who's
Wow.
banging
Before the
them
11, quickly.
2-1 Arsenal.
Yep. Okay. James.
1-0 to the Arsenal.
Yeah, he's safe as always. Back. Listen, Thailand didn't change him. Hasn't changed him. He's still reserved.
Before Thailand, I would have said 1-1. So,
so small change.
yeah, small change.
Small change. I'm going to agree with you though. I'm thinking 1-0 as well. Let's quickly pop to the Premier League's games so far that are currently playing right now and this weekend. Let's go through them. So obviously,
What is the Everton? I'm just going to have a little look. Everton were 1-0 up against United, and they are still 1-0 up. That's obviously, I know United have fallen out of form, but they're still a team we don't want them picking up any random points. We saw with Spurs, we thought they're out of it, put a couple of wins on the bounce, and you look at the table now. So I hope it stays the same. But Arsenal have the opportunity to put 3 points on the board and put the pressure on Tottenham when they go to Villa. When we went to Villa, 3 weeks ago, it was a case of do your job, extend your lead. It's slightly different when you're the chasers, as we saw with Arsenal Monday night. I kind of think, listen, we had a shocker on Monday night, but I kind of think had that been played on a Saturday at 3 o'clock before the other games, would maybe the mentality or pressure have been a little bit different. So it's on Arsenal against a very indifferent Brighton at the moment to put the pressure back on Spurs and ask them the next question. They're kind of going punch for punch at the moment.
They are.
So, yeah. For the neutral, it's interesting.
Are they the team you guys all worry about over Man United, West Ham? Is it Spurs for you?
It's Spurs for me. I mean, this analogy, and when people analyze that when you play three at the back, it's negative tactics, it's boring football. But they are playing entertaining football, let's be honest.
Scoring a lot of
and they're
goals.
scoring a lot of goals.
Yeah.
You saw this 5-goal swing.
Yeah.
That swung the other way in their favour. So,
Exactly.
yeah, so I'm just hoping that Aston Villa turn up today and do the needful.
You, Charlene, Spurs, or anyone you're kind of keeping a close eye on? Is that the one that's the biggest threat for you as well?
I wouldn't say the biggest, but it is a threat.
Yeah.
Especially they've got Conte as their manager as well. So
Yeah, I think that it comes down to that game when we played
You know when they played United
It-
at Old Trafford? I tweeted that I wanted United to win the game. Everyone's going crazy at me. Like, what do you mean? You want a draw? You don't want United picking up points? And look, there's still quite a way to go, 8-9 games. But I just felt Spurs were picking up a little bit of momentum. I just wanted them to get as little on the board as possible. And with a point, if we win our game, if we get a draw from our game in hand, we would go above them. If they've got that point at Old Trafford, we wouldn't be saying that. So I just think it's a good thing they lost that game. And United have bigger problems. With Tottenham, I always felt that it was just about it clicking and them getting the personnel. With United, it's kind of deeper rooted. They could still get it right.
They can.
But
They
I
could.
just think now that they're about to appoint Ten Hag, the way things are going, they might
Bro,
turn it around
they're
against
losing
Everton.
currently 1-0 to Everton. I'm
They
sorry,
are.
that is we're really glossing over. That's damning right now.
It is.
If you're seeing
Yeah.
that, if you're there at the game, that 1-0 to currently losing to an Everton side. Boy, I know we have our own problems, but that is very, very damning for those there. AGF88 says, give me goals. Odegaard, give me goals. Looking for Odegaard, hope he's to score today. Alex with a super chat. Big up Alex Smith says, good afternoon team. Let's win please and do what Viv and Beth did yesterday. Oh yeah, they won they won 10-0.
did they? Who did they play?
Bet me scored a hat-trick. as
Hat-trick,
well.
yeah.
One chip.
10-0.
One lovely chip like
Oh
that.
my God.
He says, I say and good luck for all those doing Grand National bets later. Imagine if we win 10-0
It's the Grand
today.
National this weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so already had the Australian Grand Prix and the Masters and this and City Liverpool.
Yep.
Wow, what a weekend.
Of sport.
And the sun is out as
Exactly.
well.
It's a great
and the
weekend.
sun is out.
I know.
Miraculous.
Miraculous.
And we seem to play better under the sun.
We do actually. We do. And just off the back of that, before I read AFC Max's super chat, we do play better in the sun, under the sun. And we watched, James, remember our last game of the season? We were there
Yeah,
against
Brighton.
Arsenal versus Brighton.
Yeah,
2-0. Pepe as
Pepe
well.
2 goals. Yeah, I saw you guys there.
Yeah, so.
When they had like 2,000 fans in the stadium. That's
Right. Were you there as well then, yeah?
I saw you guys, yeah.
Oh, yeah,
On the
nice.
stairs, yeah.
So hopefully, we might see Pepe today.
We might see Pepe.
But
But do you think we should switch a formation if it's not working at left back? Because
No.
for me, when we switched to a back three on Monday, we seem to have played a little bit better.
Yeah.
James, what do you think?
Sorry, I'm just getting early
He's
news
trying to
from
sway-
Charles Watts that Saka
team
could be
news.
playing left back.
Yeah, we've got it here.
Really?
He got the
So we've got the
11.
team. I was going to read AFC's Matt's super chat real quick. Can I say the only thing about being, at least James is back on, and Cecil, you're going to scare a young kid at some point when you're trying to interview them. Oh, I asked one of the kids. what his score prediction was. But yeah, thank you AFC Max for super chat. Let's go into the 11. We ready?
We're ready.
Ramsdale in goal. Cedric, White, Gabriel. Saka's in there, but I'll read it how it is. Gabriel, Xhaka, Lokonga, Odegaard, Smith Rowe, Saka, Martinelli, and Lacazette.
Wow.
So Sambi in the midfield. Laka leads the line.
And Xhaka's left back.
Xhaka starts left back.
Yeah. Wait, so who's partnering up
That's
with...
what Arsenal's official tweet is,
Wait,
that Xhaka
is that
starts left
4-2-3?
back.
Yeah, that's what they're the ones that
They're
highlight
telling
that.
us, which is quite weird. Normally they don't really just...
They're highlighting.
Unless
the
it's an
change.
obvious
Unless they're
one.
playing mind games.
But Charles Watts seems to think that it's Saka at left back, so I just wonder. He does say unless it's Xhaka, so but maybe the reason I point out his tweet is obviously you see the players warming up before, although it's quite early, so probably haven't seen them. But you'll see when they're warming up, they tend to warm up in shape.
Yeah. Thoughts, feelings.
I don't like it personally.
Is Tavares on the bench, sorry?
Yeah.
I mean, worst case, like, if Xhaka needs to drop into the midfield, we could always bring Tavares on. You know, what is it that you don't like?
I think when you've lost Thomas Partey, who's so crucial, and he formed a really good understanding with Xhaka and Odegaard in midfield, I don't think we need to weaken ourselves twice. We've now gone and pulled Xhaka out of midfield as well, which means our starting midfield three has got two reserve players filling in. Add to that a reserve player at left back, a reserve player right back. I'm using the word reserve kind of casually, but you get what I mean. I would have stuck with Tavares personally, and I would have just allowed him to go and sort of just go and just play with a bit of freedom at home under the sun, against Brighton. I thought it was a good game for him, but I can only think the reason he's done it is because Tierney's been playing in a much more conservative role recently. He hasn't been bombing up and down the pitch. He's been a lot more tucked in. He probably thinks Xhaka does that better than Tavares, and he doesn't want to compromise the system too much. That's the only thing I can think, but we'll see. Listen, it's a good 11. There's got a lot of talent in there.
Kelechi, I know you're there. Just let me know your thoughts and feelings on after hearing that Xhaka potentially playing. Well, it's said from the official website he'll be playing left back.
Yeah, when he played left back at the last game, he really put a foot wrong, and then when we went to a back three, so I think was part of the back.
He
three
was part of that three as the left side.
So he can do the job. All the times he has played left back, I've not really seen him getting sent off or given a rash challenge. So he seems to play conservatively. And I remember my Nigerian brother in Villarreal when he was asked, Chukwueze, your toughest opponent. He said, Jacques, I was surprised. Yeah, when we played them in the semi-final, I was shocked. So he knows how to do it. They know how. He's a professional player. I remember speaking to him at last week at the Hilton in Wembley, and we spoke about a lot of things. And he just told me about his ethos and how he plays. He plays for the badge, and I've never questioned that. So I think he's gonna play well. If it doesn't work out that way, you either change the shape or you drop the Saka that also knows how to play there. So there are different options. It's a flexible option. I also believe that if he plays left back, Odegaard is going to partner Lokonga, and Odegaard is a good player as well. He can press, he can do everything. So it doesn't distort us too much, but my heart of hearts, I would have loved Tavares to play just to get that thing out of his, but I'm sure he'll be all right. I saw his post, his mates were giving him, encouragement.
Of course.
So it's all for the good of the team.
Definitely.
My worry is not Xhaka at left back. I think he'll do a job there. My worry is more the fact that we've taken him out of midfield. So I'm actually more complimenting him than I am. It's not like, Xhaka left back, oh no. It's more, I think he's done so well the last few months. I don't want to take him. He's another pillar of this kind of stability that allows the young players to go and thrive. He has been that. Everyone knows I'm a bit of a Xhaka critic, but I've got to give him credit. He's been excellent, especially when he's played with Partey. So a lot of responsibility on Lokonga, Smith Rowe and Odegaard, 3 young players, to hold the fort down in midfield. A lot of our best football comes from the control we get from that 3. So they're going to have to step in and do it for Partey and Xhaka.
I also believe that someone like an Odegaard being there, he has control of the ball. He has control of the ball. In fact, the last game he didn't have a great game, with the whole pressing thing. But I think he's quite, and I love Smith in number 10. So let's get it. Yeah, let's get it. I'm just going to quickly read out the Brighton lineup, which says some surprising names I didn't think we were going to start, but I'll start. And so Sanchez in goal, Cucurella, who was he was trouble for us in the last game, even though it was a draw. Dunk, Zuma starts, McAllister, Trossard, Mwepu, Gross, Welbeck as well starts. That'd be interesting if he was that a good thing to say. Kay, Cedo, and Veltman start for Brighton. So that is the Brighton lineup. What of Ty's mate? He's not starting.
Huh?
Mopai.
Ty's mate. He's not starting.
No. Ty's mate's not starting. Mope is on the bench. Same with Lallana, Sulimarch, and Lamptey as well on the bench. So that is the Brighton lineup. And I'm going to be honest. I saw Xhaka, obviously. I was at Palace. I was at Selhurst Park, and I saw him go into that left back. Not even left back position. He was on the left side of the 3 that you said when they changed. And I saw some players. I think his immobility does worry me for this in that position, because I think he can get got at. And if I was a team coming against Arsenal, I'd be saying we have to target that side. However, in the midfield, like you said there, you have to give him credit. He's been superb, and with you there, James. I think we're weakening by taking him out of that midfield. That's what I do worry about. But it's time for players to step up. I did want to see Lokonga, not Lokonga, Tavares keep his position and just be more defensive. I'm not surprised. I'm surprised Arteta didn't just sit with him this week and just say, listen, we don't need that attacking brilliance from you. Just please be disciplined from the back and let the players in front of you express themselves. But
well, there's another kind of subplot which maybe there's no need to talk about it, but it's more that Lacazette's kept his place, because a lot of the questions were, could maybe Martinelli start up front or Smith Rowe start up front?
This would have been the game.
Keep Xhaka in midfield and then Tavares play. So really, the player who's actually kept his place for Tavares losing it is a Lacazette, really. Rowe and Martinelli, I think this time of the season, I think Arteta's just looking to get his best players in the side now. you know, so we need a big one from Lacazette because, you know, he does a very selfless, hard-working role up front for us. And when he is linking up play and the team are thriving off it, you don't mind that he's not scoring. But when it's not working, you are looking to your striker and you're pointing out, you know, 4 goals all season, only 2 from open play, that kind of stuff. And you start getting frustrated, even though you weren't holding him to that standard necessarily before. So, it's another big game for him because Martinelli and Smith Rowe will be knocking on that door as well.
Charlene, I want to know if your score predictions changed since here in 11, how you're feeling kind of on the news of the starting 11. Has your score prediction changed? Or
no, my score prediction remains the same, 2-1 to Arsenal.
2-1 to Arsenal. Kelechi, is your score prediction changed? You said 3-0.
I might remove 1 goal.
And then he had,
I need a clean sheet. I need a clean sheet. That's it. I need a clean sheet with a victory.
Okay.
It's due 1. My goalkeeper is due 1.
Yes. I think 2-0 is
more conservative.
Yes.
Not liberal, but very conservative.
Conservative. I think 2-0 works. James, has your score prediction changed in the news of the 11?
No, it hasn't.
Okay.
I'm a little bit worried because we can talk talent all you want, but there is something to be said for experience, and there was something about having our youth like sandwiched between Lacazette, Xhaka and Partey.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like almost there was that experience either side for them to thrive, whether it be in front of them or behind them as security. You know, now it's, look, you know, I know you were saying Smith Rowe in the 10. I think it could be a flat 3 of Lokonga, Odegaard, Smith Rowe, and between them, they're going to have to show the physicality and positional awareness and all that, and what's the word? Just intelligence to dominate a good Premier League side. We're going to talk about Brighton in a bit, I know, but, you know, they've still got talent. You know, they did go to Liverpool, I know it was back in October, whenever, but they did go to Anfield when they're in good form and come back from 2 goals down and nick a point, and they can cause teams problems. So, yeah, it's a lot of pressure on them.
It is. Rabadam says, the super chat says, I seem to remember another team losing to Everton in response to what I said about United.
Oh, really? What
taking us
that?
back. Benny with a super chat says, is Brighton for a perfect game for Sambi to start and gain confidence? Slight optimism
maybe,
from me, hoping we see him grow into the game maybe. I don't disagree with that. I think Brighton is the opposition where you can try new things, but the things I wanted to see try today haven't been.
I feel for Tavares, you know.
Yeah, likewise.
Yeah, so do I.
And actually, just a word. So I know you got the super chat. Just a word on Tavares quickly, because I know we were talking about him obviously losing his place at left back today. But I found the criticism of Tavares really strange. He struggled at Forest, and as far as I can remember, that was his only really bad game. Everyone said Liverpool because of the mistake, but actually across that game, he dealt with Salah quite well and played well. It was just the one error that led to goal. Unfortunately, that's what people remember. And then obviously had a bit of a nightmare at Palace, absolutely. But I think there's a good player there who obviously plays on enthusiasm and his drive and his skill and his pace. Clearly, he's played a slightly different role, a tweak in his role, you know, in the Forest and the Palace game, and he struggled. But he's a young player, and I think he's shown more than enough already in the appearances he's made to show that there's talent, and maybe with maturity and age and all that, he'll develop better. But I've just found the criticism really strange. Like, he's become our next kind of
target.
What's that?
Scapegoat,
but almost like, you know, there's always like, I hate using this word because it sounds really harsh. You know, there's always like a joke in the team, like Harry Maguire now. Like, it doesn't matter if he plays well for 89 minutes. Like, the ball bounces off him and it's Harry Maguire. Like,
is that what you've seen on that sort of level of criticism?
Sometimes I think certain players are made a bit of a joke of. Like,
sad.
And it's like, oh, Tavares starts. It was Cedric for a long time. Oh, Cedric. Cedric's come in and done well. And I think sometimes we just have this like we see a couple things and we just kind of write a player off. And I don't know. I feel for Tavares. I think there's a good player there.
And he's clearly a confidence player
just
as well.
Just to get your point on the sandwiching between experience, was there a case for El Neni starting today?
I think there was a case.
Yeah, there was. I'm
glad Lokonga is, but now that it's Lokonga but not next to Xhaka, then I do wonder whether maybe El Neni. But again, I think Lokonga again came in for criticism. I think he's done well this season.
Yeah, he did well when he came on as well.
And I understand that the expectations on the players are different to the expectations of an Arsenal left-back and Arsenal central midfielder. When we're talking about one of the biggest clubs in the country and the expectations that come with that, have Tavares and Lokonga necessarily been to that level? No. But as young Premier League players who we hope one day are good enough for the Champions League, they're absolutely playing at a fine level. So hopefully they just kick on today.
even when you look back at that Palace game as well, out of like all the players and the errors and everything, I don't think Tavares was our worst player. You know, there's other players that I could say
Partey had a
more,
disaster.
exactly.
And yet I was still gutted he went off injured.
Yeah,
Odegaard,
exactly.
shocking.
Gabriel
like there was,
as well.
Yeah, Gabriel.
know.
Which goal did he dive in? Was it the
second
goal?
I'm not gonna lie, I was in
was-
Thailand, it was
that
4 a.m. I
was-
was like, I left it
That was
I was like-
disastrous.
But yeah, so there you go, and that's the kind of nature of football sometimes.
I feel for Tavares. It's a shame because he's been brought in for Kieran Tierney's backup, and that's what I expect him to be there for, and we're not using him for that. So it frustrates me. And I think when we play the better teams, if this is the formation and the style of play that Arteta is going to go with, again, I'll say it, they will target that side and they will target Xhaka. So listen, I hope it works today, but this can't be it going forward. Now I know you want to do some numbers breaking and number crunching, James. We're going to quickly, we haven't got too long left, but we will get into that. Ruben just quickly says, should have put Gabby as a striker, and I agree with that. I would love to have seen Martinelli. As much as I've been so against it in the past, I think this is the game to trial it. I would have loved to have seen him up top and us playing counter-attacking football. I know it's at home, some fans may not want to hear that, but that's how I thought we would have got the game won today.
You think we'd have played more on the counter-attack?
That's what I would have wanted. I would have said, stay Tavares, stay disciplined, stay with the back line, same with Cedric, keep it solid with the cover of the two in front, Xhaka and El Neni, and then let the people in front, the youngsters, go and explore.
I think today Arteta's picked system.
He's not going to do that today.
I think today he's picked system over personnel, and I think he's gone. Xhaka does what Tierney was doing in that role better than Tavares does what Tierney was doing in that role. So he's just gone. I'm going to go for the players that will do that system rather than going, well, we'll play Tavares, but we'll let him bomb on more, and we might play Smith Rowe on the left because he'll cut in more.
But you could have played both and had Xhaka cover.
Yeah, again, but that would have tweaked the system, and I think, and I know people will go on about, boring systems, this, and you're overthinking, but I do think there is, like, football's become so kind of like particular with roles and positions and systems, blah blah blah, and I just think he's got something that's working. He doesn't want to compromise. So.
Okay, before because I know we started late, so we may overrun a little bit for the starting 11 show. I'm just going to read the lineup one more time, then we're going to let James take over for some of the information and stats and breakdowns. Just quickly, so the 11 for Arsenal again is Ramsdale, Cedric, White, Gabriel, Xhaka, Lokonga, Odegaard, Smith Rowe, Saka, Martinelli, and Lacazette. I'm going to read the bench this time because I don't see Holding in the subs. So we've got Leno. I'm chatting absolute rubbish. He's right there.
Specsavers, please. Production. Galaxy's production.
It's very small. It's very small.
This boy does not see. It's okay.
Leno, Holding, Tavares. A youngster on the bench there. Ogumbo.
He's a Nigerian boy. Ogumbo. Please don't bother his name, please.
Ogbongo.
He should have asked me behind the scenes.
Zach Swanson, El Neni, Hutchinson, Pepe, and Nketiah. There's some attacking options on the bench. Pepe and Nketiah, Hudson come on as well, and then obviously
I want to see Pepe come on at some point. After the masterclass against France. He did well. I want to see him come on.
He did well there. Yeah.
James, over
I just
to you.
wanted to touch on Brighton, the kind of opposition we're playing today. I got some just interesting numbers on Brighton's last 10 games in the league. Only the one win, which I believe was away at Watford 2-0. 6 defeats in those 10. They scored 5 goals. So there's one thing you know about Brighton is that they play pretty decent attacking football. But they have the same old problem. Scored 5 from an XG of 11.79. They had 31 shots in their last game at home to Norwich and they drew 0-0. Yeah. That is just Brighton under Potter is great to watch, entertaining, but that's what they do. But what I found really interesting was they played 6 different formations in those 10 games. So I've got this next graphic here that points out they played the 4-3-3 once. They played a diamond. I've written it down as 4-1-2-1-2. They played that on 3 occasions. They played the 3-5-2 twice, 4-4-2 once, 4-2-3-1 twice, and then a 3-4-1-2. That's a lot of numbers to just read the graphic. That will break it down nicely.
It's on your screen, guys.
That's why I make these, so that it's a bit easier to follow. But I think what that tells me is a team a little bit in, not disarray, because I think they're comfortable from they're not in the relegation battle. They're going to be comfortably mid-table. But I think what it tells you, there's a side that maybe is lacking a little bit of identity, not in the way they play. We know what Graham Potter wants to do, and we know Brighton are a very good side. Yeah. But just in terms of how they want to be approaching these games, different formations against Chelsea, Leicester, Spurs, Liverpool. And yeah, as I've just mentioned, there have been some hard games in there. But I think this is an opportunity for Arsenal, to maybe make a fast start and just get a little bit of doubt in their minds, because I think with the constant changing of formation, you're naturally going to get doubt. They sold Dan Burn to Newcastle in January. He was a player who was kind of a bit of a regular in that back three, back four, and maybe that's caused them a few problems. I don't know. Brighton fans will tell you. I'm no expert on them. I'm just looking at the numbers.
Controversy with the midfield as well, Basuma and whatnot. I think it's thrown them a little bit of the situation as well.
I think it just tells you as well. You know, when I saw Arsenal fans on Twitter talking about what we should do, Xhaka at left back, Saka left back, pull him out from the right wing. Should we go to a back three and let Tavares and Cedric bomb on? Listen, they're all great ideas, and on paper they sound nice. But while Brighton are going for something very different to us, you know, maybe use it as a little bit of a template, just constantly switching formations and trying to find answers after one defeat. Let's relax. Let's chalk it off as a bad day. Try go do the same again. And I think that's why we're seeing Xhaka at left back to ultimately go with the system that we've seen. So, yeah, Brighton a little all over the place at the moment, but you'd never write them off.
Never write them off, and do you know what? It's similar. They're similar to Palace. They're on the same. They were on the same points as Palace before they play Palace. Before Palace played us, and the same again. They've had 13 draws as well, same amount as Palace as well in their season. I'm just worried. I don't want to see it. When it comes to Arsenal, this team turns up like what Palace did. They turn up. I don't want to see that. I'm very apprehensive to give a score prediction. I'm very apprehensive to give what I think is going to happen, because I honestly, at this point, I don't know, especially with our injuries now. That just completely changed the tide on that. People, how are you, Charlotte? How are you feeling right now before the game? Are you still very confident we can get the result?
I actually feel okay.
Yeah?
Yeah, I feel like we just need to go out there.
Yeah,
and stay focused, you know. The game against Palace, that's done now. We need to go out there, fresh mindset. We're at home, we've got Brighton. We need to just focus on today's game and just make sure we get them 3 points. 100%. We know where we want to be finishing the season.
We've got the United-Everton game on, just the last 5 minutes, and Juan Mata and Bruno Fernandes were having a little, I don't know if you noticed it, we're having a little bit of a back and forth, but this is kind of what I meant by United's slightly deeper. Listen, it might just be a thing on the pitch, I'm sure it happens all the time, but you know, this result, as bad as Everton have been, doesn't surprise me massively. And unless United do a Tottenham at Leicester and get 2 late goals.
Again, back to what you were saying about changing the system. Everton have changed the system a little bit. That's why they're playing a bit better. In as much as they've lost a few games. I've been watching their games lately. They're playing Iwobi number 10. Yeah. And there's a lot of drive forward, a lot of progressive passes. They've been unlucky to lose. So, and you see from this game, that's why they are kind of putting in some decent performances. So, you know, I understand what you mean by, you know, constant changing of formations, and we shouldn't do it, but I just believe that if something is not working, like you did against Crystal Palace, you change to something else, and we'll change, and then we'll get in the game.
Well, football's fun, isn't it? Because if Arteta did nothing, people would be saying you saw that performance and you didn't change anything. So, yeah, we'll see.
Let me collect you. You said 2-0. Let me just quickly round off before I go to the comments to finish off this stream and ask you, where do you see the goal coming today for Arsenal? Because Lacazette hasn't been scoring too much in open play. There's been a lot of changes. I like to ask this on this show. Where do you see it coming from, or who do you see it scoring by?
Sorry, remember, what formation do you think Brighton are going to play today?
Is it back three? I'll look at their 11 quickly.
That will tell me who I think will score. Okay. Because, for instance, when we played Leeds United back in, was it November or something, and Martinelli got those 2 goals, you could see how we're, you know, stretching the game, and he was running in behind. So that will give me. But I expect someone like Martinelli to score, and then Saka as well to score.
Okay. Well, James,
but again, Lacazette doesn't necessarally need to score.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
In the system we are playing.
100%.
Yeah, but if he gets a goal, I'll be very, very happy as well.
100%. Let me round off with some of the comments. So, quickly, we had a poll as well in the chat today. What was your predictions for today's game? Arsenal win. 81% of you have voted that. That's good. That's what I want to see. Draw, 11%. A draw would be definitely a disappointment for this Arsenal side today. 100%, especially off the back of the result.
That would be a killer.
That would be
an absolute
a massive blow.
Killer.
to our season and our hopes for top 4. And then Brighton to win, 8% of you voted that. Oh, there might be some Brighton fans. Right, that is it. Amir with the last prediction with Arsenal 3-0. That's what you started with. You went down to 2-0. And Dabala K says Pepe needs to start up top. Interesting one. Listen, it's going to build.
What's your score prediction?
I'm not giving my score prediction. Thank you for watching.
Are we getting 3 points?
I'm not giving my score prediction.
Are we getting 3 points? It's a fair question. Are we getting 3 points?
Yes or no?
Thank you for watching the Start 11 show. We'll see you for Matchday Live. Make sure you stick around. The people will be back in the studio for the Arsenal versus Brighton game. Take care. Peace.